They took my baby. Where do the fetuses from Alien-Interrupted Pregnancies really go? Sarah Martinez woke up one morning in May 1987 and her 8-week pregnancy had vanished. No miscarriage, no bleeding, no physical explanation, just gone. Her doctor had no answers. The ultrasound showed nothing, but 3 months later she found herself paralyzed in her bedroom, staring into the black eyes of creatures holding something in their arms. Something that looked almost human. Almost. What you're about to hear has been buried in classified case files for decades. Over 3,000 women across America have reported the exact same phenomenon. Medical impossibility after medical impossibility. Pregnancies confirmed by blood tests and ultrasounds that simply disappear overnight. No trace, no explanation. And here's what makes your blood run cold. Every single one of these women later reported seeing their children, but not on Earth. Let me walk you through what actually happens, based on documented testimony from abduction researchers Bud Hopkins and Dr. David Jacobs, who spent 40 years investigating this phenomenon before their deaths. These aren't wild stories from random people on the internet. These are patterns, repeating patterns that span continents, cultures, and decades. It starts with what researchers call the recruitment phase. A woman in her 20s or 30s experiences what she thinks is sleep paralysis. She wakes up unable to move, sensing a presence in her room. Most dismiss it, but then comes the first anomaly. She discovers she's pregnant when she shouldn't be. Maybe she hasn't been intimate with anyone recently. Maybe she's been trying to conceive for years with no success. Suddenly, positive test. Suddenly, there's a heartbeat on the ultrasound. For 8 to 12 weeks, everything seems normal. Morning sickness, fatigue, all the typical symptoms. Medical professionals confirm it, family members congratulate her, and then, without warning, it all stops. The symptoms vanish overnight. She rushes to her doctor, terrified something went wrong. But here's where it gets impossible to explain. There's no evidence a pregnancy ever existed, no miscarried tissue, no hormonal crash that should follow a pregnancy loss. Her body acts like she was never pregnant at all. Doctors call it a false pregnancy, pseudocyesis. They tell these women it was all in their heads, but blood tests don't lie. Ultrasounds don't lie. Something was there, and then it wasn't. Now here's what happens next, and this is where thousands of cases align with terrifying precision. Within weeks or months of the vanishing pregnancy, the woman experiences her first fully conscious abduction. She's taken aboard a craft where grey beings with oversized heads and black almond eyes perform what she describes as a medical examination. They focus intensely on her reproductive system. They extract ova using instruments she's never seen before. Some women report seeing their eggs being fertilized in transparent containers right in front of them. Others describe being impregnated through technological means they can't begin to understand. But it doesn't end there. This is the part that changes everything you think you know about alien contact. Between 8 and 10 weeks after these procedures, the women are taken again. This time, the beings extract something. Abduction researcher Bud Hopkins documented over 300 cases of what he termed fetal extraction. Women who were definitely pregnant with medical records to prove it wake up one morning no longer carrying a child. Hopkins called this missing fetus syndrome, and it became one of the most documented yet suppressed aspects of the abduction phenomenon. Debbie Jordan from Indianapolis experienced this in 1976 at age 17. She had a confirmed pregnancy that disappeared at exactly 8 weeks. Under regression hypnosis conducted by Hopkins, she recalled being taken aboard a craft where beings removed the fetus through a procedure she couldn't fully comprehend. No incisions, no pain. Just a sense of something being drawn out of her body through advanced technology that defied every law of medicine she knew. The horror of this doesn't fully hit until you understand what comes next. You see, these women don't just lose their pregnancies and move on with their lives. They're brought back, sometimes months later, sometimes years later, and they're shown the results. Picture this. You're paralyzed on a cold metal surface. The air smells like copper and electricity. A gray being approaches you holding something wrapped in a strange, metallic blanket. It unwraps the blanket and you see a child, but it's not quite human. The eyes are too large, the head is slightly elongated, the skin has an unusual pallor, and yet, when you look into those eyes, you feel an overwhelming connection, a bond that shouldn't exist. The being communicates telepathically, though you hear no words. It tells you this is your child, the one they took from you, the one you thought was gone forever. Over 700 abductees have reported this exact scenario, being presented with hybrid children and told, either directly or through telepathic impression, that these are their biological offspring. Some women describe being forced to hold these children, to nurse them, to teach them how humans show affection. One woman from Oregon testified that she was brought back repeatedly over 15 years to interact with the same hybrid child as it grew from infant to adolescent. Each time, she felt that inexplicable maternal bond, even though every logical part of her brain screamed that this creature wasn't fully human. Dr. David Jacobs from Temple University studied this phenomenon for over 30 years. His research revealed something that challenges everything we think we know about why aliens are here. According to testimony from over 1,100 abductees, there's a systematic breeding program underway. Human DNA is being harvested and merged with alien genetics to create hybrid beings. But here's the question that keeps researchers up at night. Why are they doing this? Some abductees report being told the alien race is dying, that they've lost the ability to reproduce naturally and need fresh genetic material to survive. Others describe being shown apocalyptic visions of Earth's future, with the hybrids presented as a bridge species that can survive what humans cannot. A few have been told something even more disturbing, that the hybrids are being prepared to integrate into human society undetected, to walk among us, to replace us. Now let's talk about where these fetuses actually go. Based on thousands of abduction accounts, researchers have pieced together what appears to be a multi-stage process. After extraction at around 8 to 10 weeks of development, the fetuses are placed in what abductees describe as incubation chambers, rows upon rows of transparent containers filled with glowing amber liquid. Inside each container, a developing hybrid suspended in fluid, connected to technology that somehow sustains and accelerates its growth. Multiple abductees have described walking through vast rooms on these crafts, rooms that stretch beyond normal physics, containing hundreds or even thousands of these incubation chambers. The fetuses inside are at various stages of development. Some look almost entirely human, others are clearly more alien. And all of them are being monitored by the gray beings who move between the containers, adjusting controls, observing readouts on displays that function in ways our technology cannot replicate. But not all of these hybrids stay in the incubation chambers. Some are brought to term and raised entirely on the crafts. Abductees who've been taken multiple times report seeing hybrid children of various ages living in separate areas of these vessels. They describe playrooms where young hybrids are taught to use objects like human children would. They describe classrooms where adolescent hybrids are shown images and videos of Earth, learning about human culture, human emotion, human behavior. And they describe adult hybrids, ones that could pass for human if you didn't look too closely, being prepared for something researchers can only speculate about. Here's what makes this even more chilling. In the early 2000s, Dr. Jacobs began noticing a shift in abduction reports. Abductees started describing interactions with beings that looked completely human. No gray skin, no oversized eyes, just normal-looking people who displayed unusual abilities, mind reading, telekinesis, the ability to paralyze someone with a glance. These beings asked strange questions about how to blend into human society, how to order food at restaurants, how to respond to social cues, how to seem normal. Jacobs theorized these were late-stage hybrids, beings with enough human DNA to pass as one of us, but still possessing alien abilities and serving an alien agenda. And if his research is correct, they're already here, walking our streets, working our jobs, living undetected among 7 billion humans who have no idea they're sharing the planet with something that isn't entirely human. Now you might be thinking this all sounds too insane to be real. That's exactly what the skeptics say. But consider this. The Roper organization conducted a national poll in 1991. They didn't ask people if they'd been abducted by aliens. That would skew the results. Instead, they asked about specific experiences, missing time, unexplained scars, seeing unusual beings, waking up paralyzed, experiencing pregnancy symptoms that medical professionals couldn't explain. Based on the responses, researchers estimated that nearly 4 million Americans may have experienced some form of alien abduction. 4 million? That's not a fringe phenomenon. That's a systematic operation happening on a scale that should terrify anyone who looks at the data objectively. And here's the final piece that ties everything together. Betty and Barney Hill, the first widely publicized abduction case from 1961, reported that Betty underwent a pregnancy test aboard the craft. A long needle inserted into her navel, a procedure that wouldn't be invented in human medicine until years later, when amniocentesis became standard practice. How did she describe a medical procedure that didn't exist yet? How did she know about technology that hadn't been developed? Because she experienced it, because it was real, and because what happened to her has happened to thousands of others in the decades since. These women aren't making this up. They're not seeking attention. Most of them are terrified to speak publicly because they know they'll be ridiculed and dismissed. But their medical records are real. Their positive pregnancy tests are real. The ultrasounds showing fetuses that later vanish are real. And the psychological trauma they carry from being shown hybrid children they somehow know are theirs is devastatingly, undeniably real. So where do the fetuses go when they're taken? They go into a breeding program that's been operating in plain sight for at least 60 years. They're being used to create a hybrid species for purposes we can only begin to understand. And based on the most recent testimony from abductees, that program is entering its final stages. The hybrids are no longer staying on the ships. They're coming here. They're integrating. And unless something changes, we won't even realize we're living alongside them until it's too late. The evidence is overwhelming if you're willing to look at it. The patterns are undeniable if you're brave enough to see them. And the implications are terrifying if you're honest enough to accept them. This isn't science fiction. This is documented testimony from thousands of people whose lives were forever changed by something they never asked for and can never forget.